Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go!
Dealing with my older sister is like handling a toddler sometimes, except this toddler has 3 kids of her own. I've posted about her before, but what happened yesterday was ridiculous. I live with my great-grandmother, we call her Nana, in a small house. We share a car that I use during the week for work, and she uses on weekends. My sister has 3 kids, 2 older ones who are school-aged, and a baby. She is not a good mother, and there are custody issues with her ex. I was sick, sore throat, tired. I woke up from a nap when I heard the front door open. Nana was walking back in with all 3 kids looking upset. I asked her what was going on and why the kids were back at our house. Nana was nearly in tears as she told me my sister wouldn't take her own children back. Our normal routine is that Nana picks up the kids on Saturday, they stay overnight, we go to church on Sunday, and then Nana takes them home after. But when Nana tried to drop them off, my sister refused to take them back. Nana told me my sister claimed they had discussed keeping the kids for spring break, which was a lie. Nana never agreed to that and couldn't watch 3 children all day when she had doctor's appointments that week. Nana was upset. She's older, her back and leg hurt lately, and she was tired. Our heat was out for the 3rd time that winter and the house was cold. Nana was using a space heater, and I had my heated blanket. I told Nana I would handle it. I said the kids could play while I had tea for my throat, and then I'd take them back to their mother's house. The older kids were upset. The oldest boy seemed hurt that his mom had rejected them. We kept him calm with videos on my phone while I got ready to drive them back. Nana stayed home while I drove the kids back. The whole drive there, I was thinking about what to say, trying to stay calm even though I felt terrible. When we got there, I left the kids in the car with the driver's side door open so I could hear them, and knocked on the door. My sister answered, and her face changed when she saw me. She asked what I was doing at her house. I told her I was bringing her kids home. My sister got mad. She said she had talked to Nana about keeping the kids for spring break and told me to take them back. I told her that wasn't true, and that Nana had never agreed to that. I mentioned I was sick and our heat was out, making our house too cold for the children. My sister said I was lying and insisted she had talked to Nana all weekend about this plan. I told her Nana was shocked when she refused to take the kids back today. My sister then said that she had things to do during the week and couldn't take the kids. I reminded her that they were her children and handling them during spring break was her job as their mother. She started yelling at me, leaning toward my face. I kept my voice low, knowing the kids might hear us from the car. My sister said I was scaring the kids. I pointed out that I was speaking quietly while she was yelling. She then said she would call the police on me for taking the kids from Nana. I took a deep breath, trying to stay composed, despite my heart pounding and hands shaking. I hate arguments, but I wasn't giving in. I told her she had 2 options: take her kids back, or I would call the police and report her for child abandonment. Taking them back to my house was not an option. This hit a nerve. She changed tactics and started fake crying with no tears. My sister said she was overwhelmed and that Department of Human Services was already involved. She said she had a mediation hearing coming up that would determine if she got to keep her kids. She also said I was the one who called Department of Human Services on her. I told her I had no idea DHS was involved again, and that I wasn't the one who reported her. She believed me and blamed her ex instead. Then she asked for a minute and went back inside, closing the door. I went back to the car to wait. The 2 older kids looked scared, and the baby was calling for his mom. The older boy was about to cry, and the girl was worried. She asked if I was going to jail, and I told her nobody was going to jail, and that her mom just needed a minute to get things ready for them. 10 minutes passed. Then my sister came outside on her phone, walked around, and went back inside for another 5 minutes. I thought she was calling the police on me. My niece was getting more worried, and I was thinking about calling the police myself. I couldn't understand how a mother refuses to take her own children, especially knowing they'd be going back to a cold house. Finally, she came back out and started unbuckling the kids from their car seats. The oldest boy refused to get out for his mom, so I had to pick him up myself and carry him out, putting his coat over him as I handed him to her. I told her their overnight bags were in the trunk. I got their things out, handed them over, and got back in my car, my hands still shaking. As I drove away, I called my ex-brother-in-law, her ex, and told him everything that happened so he could tell his lawyer. He wasn't surprised. We ended up laughing about how ridiculous it was, though it's not funny when you think about those kids. Some other concerning things. She wouldn't let me see inside the house. There was an unfamiliar car parked outside with someone waiting inside the house, and she's missing her entire top row of teeth. She's only 25 but looks almost 50. Her boyfriend doesn't have a car anymore because his license was revoked after multiple DUIs, with the last one resulting in him wrecking his car. I decided to file my own report with Department of Human Services about what happened. Those kids deserve better, and my sister is too entitled. She thought she could dump her kids on my elderly great-grandmother for an entire week without even asking, all because she didn't want to deal with them during spring break. This won't be the last time something like this happens, but now I know I can stand up to her, even if it gives me a panic attack. I worked at Johnson Construction for 5 years, started as a helper, and worked my way up to leading crews on smaller projects. The pay was decent, and I made good friends. My boss expected everyone to work hard, but he was fair. We looked out for each other, helped when someone struggled, and celebrated together. That was how things were until he showed up. The company had been short-staffed for months. We turned down jobs because we didn't have enough hands. When this guy applied, the boss gave him a shot. He walked onto the site with expensive boots that never saw work and sunglasses. I greeted him and welcomed him. He said he was there to save our operation, and we needed his talent. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was nervous on his first day, but no. He was just a jerk. After 2 days, he acted like he owned the place. He'd been in construction for a year after getting fired from accounting for driving under the influence, yet he thought he was special. He mocked my clothing, saying my jeans looked cheap when I explained they were work clothes meant to get dirty. He insulted my accent. He said I sounded like I was from the backwoods and questioned if proper English had been taught where I grew up. I tried to ignore him. The crew warned me not to let him bother me, but he kept at it. Every day was something new, making fun of my lunch, criticizing my work, talking down to everyone. One Friday after work, we were in the parking lot. I put my phone on my toolbox while loading equipment. When I came back, he was going through my phone. I confronted him about looking through my personal phone. He told me to chill out, called me country boy, and said he was checking if I had decent apps. He added that since my phone wasn't locked, I was asking people to look through it. I took my phone back, but he had gone through my Instagram account, my private one that only friends could see. I didn't think much about it until Monday when the boss called me to his office. The boss told me someone showed him pictures of me. On my private Instagram, I had old photos of me smoking weed at a party. Not what you want your employer seeing. I told him those were old photos, and I didn't do that anymore. The boss laughed. He reminded me of when we worked in Colorado and smoked together. He wasn't judging and mentioned he quit because it was bad for the lungs. Then he warned me my new friend was trying to get me fired. I was angry. He went through my phone and tried to use something personal against me. What kind of person tries to get someone fired over something stupid? That's when I decided he needed to learn a lesson. At our company, we have a rule. Anything found hidden in the walls during demolition belongs to whoever finds it. People have found old coins, magazines, even cash. The next day, I heard him complaining. He said if he won the lottery, he'd leave because he wasn't getting respect. When a crew member said respect had to be earned, he dismissed it. He boasted he had more talent than our whole crew. That's when I got an idea to teach him about respect. I ordered fake gold coins online, the kind for parties. They looked real to someone who wouldn't know better. I found an old metal box at an antique store. It was rusty enough to look old. We were working on a remodel job in an old house. While he was on his long lunch break, I put the box with coins into a section of wall we would tear down the next day. I made sure it would be in his work area. The next morning he showed up late. He made excuses about traffic and a train. The boss told him to get to work because we were behind schedule due to his late arrivals. He muttered that we were lucky he showed up to this dump. I watched him all morning. Around 11:30 he shouted from the other room. He called everyone to look at what he found. Everyone gathered as he showed the box from the wall. He opened it, and there were 20 fake gold coins inside. He asked if we knew what they were worth. He said they were gold coins and he was rich. When a crew member tried to look closer, he told them to back off. He said the coins were his because he found them. The boss came to see what was happening. The guy said he was quitting. He didn't need the job anymore, insulted the boss, and said the company was awful. He boasted about hitting the jackpot while doing a dance before taking the coins and walking out to his car. The boss looked confused until I smiled at him. He asked what I did. I told him those coins might not be valuable. The boss said he was planning to fire him anyway because he was late and his work was bad. The crew laughed when I explained my prank. $40 for the fake coins and box was money well spent. A week later, a guy from work saw him at a gas station. He'd taken the coins to 3 pawn shops and a dealer before someone told him they were fakes. By then, he'd already yelled at his landlord and bought expensive stuff on credit. I feel a bit bad, but then I remember how he tried to get me fired by going through my phone, how he treated everyone badly because he thought he was better. Some people only learn lessons the hard way. I'm still at Johnson Construction. We still keep what we find in walls. I haven't planted more treasures, though I keep fake coins in my toolbox just in case we hire another jerk who needs to learn about respect. He's trying to get back into accounting now, but with his driving record and no references, he's not having luck. Respect isn't something you demand, it's something you earn. My mom works as a United States Marshal. She tracks down fugitives, provides security for federal courts, and transports prisoners. She didn't expect to make an arrest while we were shopping for groceries. Having a mom in law enforcement taught me about personal safety and how to read situations. Sometimes our family outings get interrupted by her work or by people who don't understand who they're dealing with. That day, Mom had the day off, so we ran some errands together. She wore her uniform because she had to visit the office later. I wore a gray hoodie and jeans. Nothing that looked like a store employee's outfit. We were looking for hot sauce when we heard a shrill voice. I turned around and saw a middle-aged woman with short blonde hair. She wore a bright pink tracksuit. The veins on her forehead were bulging. She looked angry. I looked around thinking she was talking to someone else. The aisle was empty, except for us. The woman called me young man and wanted my attention. I asked her what was wrong. She said she tried to open a pickle jar for 10 minutes and no store employee would help. She wanted me to open it for her and push the jar toward me. I told her I didn't work at the store. I showed my empty hands. No name tag, no uniform. The woman said I was lying. She claimed she saw me stocking shelves earlier and told me again to open the jar. I was confused why she wanted to open pickles in the store. I repeated that I didn't work there. She was mistaken. Her face turned red. The woman called me a lazy brat and told me to open the jar. She stepped toward me. My heart raced, but I stayed calm. Mom stepped between us. She told the woman to calm down and explained I was her son and didn't work there. The woman looked at Mom's uniform without understanding what it meant. She said I should have told her sooner and should still help her. Mom told the woman I wasn't required to open a jar for her and asked her to leave us alone. The woman stared at Mom, then threw the pickle jar at me. Everything slowed down. The jar flew toward my face. Mom moved in front of me and hit the jar with her hand. It broke on the floor, spreading glass and pickle juice. Mom winced and moved her hand. I asked if she was okay. She said she was fine and told me to wait outside. I knew she hurt herself stopping the jar. I also knew her look, what I call her Marshal mode. I walked toward the exit but looked back. Mom told the woman she was under arrest for trying to assault a minor. Mom grabbed the woman's wrist, turned her around and put handcuffs on her. The woman's expression changed from angry to shocked. She said Mom couldn't do this. She fought against the handcuffs, but they were secure. Mom told her she could arrest her and would take her to the station. The woman kept protesting. Mom called for backup while holding the woman's arm. Other shoppers watched. Some recorded with their phones. The woman called the situation ridiculous and wanted to talk to Mom's supervisor. She acted like needing help with a jar justified her behavior. Mom told her she could speak to people at the station, including her supervisor. She listed the charges: assaulting a minor, destroying property, and disturbing the peace. The woman denied assaulting anyone and said it was just a jar. Mom pointed out that throwing a glass jar at her teenage son was assault. The store manager rushed over and asked what was happening. Mom said she was a United States Marshal and had arrested the woman for assault. She asked for the security footage and mentioned someone would contact the store about the broken merchandise. The manager nodded. The woman threatened to sue and claimed harassment. She said she knew her rights. Mom read her Miranda rights. Two police officers arrived minutes later. Mom explained what happened and handed the woman over. Then she came to me outside. I asked about her hand, seeing the swelling. She said it was just bruised. She moved her fingers, but I saw she was hiding pain. Her knuckles were swelling. I told her to get her hand checked. She agreed but said we would finish shopping first. I was surprised we were still shopping. She reminded me we needed hot sauce for taco night. That's Mom for you. She takes down a criminal, then continues grocery shopping. When we went back into the store, people looked at us. The manager came over and said sorry about what happened. He said they watched the security footage and we were right. Mom told him not to apologize since it wasn't his fault. The manager offered us a gift card despite Mom saying no thanks. He insisted, so we got a $50 gift card. While shopping, I thought about how things might have gone without Mom there. I could defend myself, but having a United States Marshal for a mother helped. At dinner that night, Mom told me the woman was charged with assault on a minor and destroying property. She discovered this wasn't the first time the woman caused trouble. She harassed staff at other stores. Employees filed complaints, but no one pressed charges. I said she picked the wrong person to throw a jar at. Mom raised her water glass and said this was to entitled people facing results. I clinked my glass with hers and added a toast to United States Marshal moms who don't take nonsense. She laughed. Not everyone has a mom who jumps in front of flying objects to protect them. Not every entitled person gets arrested, but this one did. 5 years ago, I dated a girl. She controlled everything: who I talked to, where I went, what I wore. When I did something she didn't like, she'd scream for hours or ignore me for days. Sometimes she threw things or slapped me. I left after finding out she cheated with a coworker. After the breakup, I blocked her and moved. I rebuilt my life, went back to school, and got a good job at a tech company. The pay covered my expenses, let me live well, and save money. My life was finally on track. 2 months after starting my job, I got a text from an unknown number. It was my ex saying we needed to talk about something important. I hesitated but agreed to meet at a coffee shop. I thought she might want to apologize. She brought a boy about 5 years old. She told me he was my son. I said that was impossible since we broke up 5 years ago. She claimed she found out about the pregnancy after we split but didn't tell me because she was angry. I asked why she waited 5 years to tell me. She admitted she needed money and couldn't raise him alone. She said he needed his father and she needed child support. The timing seemed off. She contacted me right after I got a good job. The kid looked about the right age, but something felt wrong. I told her I needed time to think. I called my friend who works as a family lawyer. He told me to be careful and get a DNA test before agreeing to anything. When we met again, I told her I would take responsibility if the child was mine, pay support, cover expenses, and be in his life. But I needed a DNA test first. She got angry and accused me of calling her a liar. I explained it was standard procedure. She said I was avoiding my responsibilities and insisted the child was mine. I told her if he was mine, the test would prove it, and I would support him fully. She left the cafe and things got worse. She called my parents saying I was avoiding responsibility for our child. She messaged my siblings with the same story. She threatened to come to my workplace to expose me. My lawyer friend helped me get a court-ordered DNA test. After weeks of excuses, she ran out of options. The test was done, and the results showed I was not the father. When she got the results, she lost control. She claimed the test was wrong and said I must have tampered with it. I reminded her it was court-ordered and done by an independent lab. She changed tactics and talked about needing money as a single mother. She pointed out I made enough to help them. I said I was sorry for her struggles, but it wasn't my child, so I wasn't responsible. She complained it was unfair and she deserved that money. That revealed everything. It was never about the kid having a father, it was about getting my money. I felt bad for the boy, but I couldn't support someone else's child just because his mother wanted me to. The case was dismissed, and I thought it was over. Last week, my parents hosted a family gathering. My brother, my lawyer friend, and I were in the backyard, away from everyone. We'd had some beers, and my brother mentioned the DNA test situation. He joked about my ex's reaction to the results. We all laughed and made jokes. Some were cruel. I joked about how she thought she'd hit the jackpot when she found out about my job. My friend mocked her sense of entitlement. My brother laughed about her trying to get child support from someone who wasn't the father. While we were laughing, my sister appeared from behind the garden shed. She had been listening. She pushed me against the wall. She yelled at us for talking that way about my ex and called us horrible for making fun of a single mother. My brother tried to calm her down, but she walked off. Later that night, as people were leaving, she asked me to come to the kitchen with our parents. That's when she confronted me. She said we needed to discuss my behavior toward my ex and her son. I was confused. She accused me of letting my ex struggle to raise a child while I enjoyed my job. I reminded her the child wasn't mine, proven by the DNA test. She dismissed the results, saying they didn't matter. According to her, I forced my ex into being a single mother and had a moral obligation to help her. My brother asked if she was serious and pointed out my ex tried to scam me. My dad said making jokes about her situation might have been too much, but agreed I wasn't responsible for the child. Then my mom said, even if the child wasn't mine biologically, I should help my ex because I made enough to help. She asked what kind of man refuses to help a woman in need. I asked if she was serious about me helping someone who lied about having my child to get money. We argued for hours. My dad and brother defended me, but my sister wouldn't stop. She revealed my ex had been talking to her for months, telling sad stories about her life. Since then, my sister has been sending texts calling me selfish and heartless. My mom sent a message saying she respected my decision, but was disappointed in my selfishness. My dad and brother tell me to ignore them, that I don't need to support my ex and her child. Logically, I know they're right, but the guilt trips from my sister and disappointment from my mom are exhausting. They expect me to support a woman who abused me for years, then tried to scam me with a fake paternity claim. How can they think I owe her anything? I just wanted to move on with my life. And now I'm stuck in this family drama because my ex couldn't find someone else to pay her bills. I think about changing my number and moving again just to get some peace. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.